Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Alton West. Today I will have a guest on from LaGrange Kiwanis Club, and also I have a guest on from the City of LaGrange Building Department. So make sure that you stay tuned for those interviews coming up in just a moment.
Just what you're looking for. You'll find it in one of the 28 shops in downtown LaGrange. Remember old school customer service? It's still here. Not to mention that perfect gift. That's the beauty of downtown LaGrange. So come on down.
Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'm sitting down with members of the local LaGrange Kiwanis Club. I'm sitting down, first of all, with the immediate past president, Steve Cavender. Welcome, Steve, to the show.
Thank you for having us.
And also the president now, Betty Patterson. Both of you all, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Well, it's a pleasure to sit down with both of you all. And Steve, you and I think relationship kind of go back to our days down in the blue uniforms there.
Yeah.
I can remember way back when.
It's a long time.
It was a long time, wasn't it, Steve? Good times too,
yeah,
wasn't it? Good times. Even though we had a very important job and mission, we had some good times there as well as had some serious times as
Yes,
well.
we did.
So I thank you for your training and kind of helping me transition in when I came in back in 1988, I believe it was.
It was back in the 80s, yeah.
Yeah, it was. All right. Well, look, we want to talk a little bit about the LaGrange Kiwanis Club. And Betty, I understand that you're the president of the Kiwanis Club now. And Steve, you had that reign. So I want to kind of just throw some questions to both of you all. Okay. First of all, just tell us a little bit about Kiwanis, if you don't mind, for those that may not know about it, Betty.
Okay, Kiwanis is a global organization. Our mission is to go into the community, serve the community and one child, or change the lives of one child, one community at a time. Kiwanis has been in existence since 1915. Mm-hmm. We're celebrating this year, the centennial year, 100 year for Kiwanis being in existence. Mm-hmm. It will be held in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I think this was the founding city for which it first started. And we'll be going there June 25th through the 28th. Okay. Our local chapter has been in existence for 75 years. It started off December 1940. It was chartered 1941, I believe. Okay. With 17 members, if my memory serves me correctly, and it's been up and running. Currently, we have 55 members that are very active and doing things in the community to help the children.
Oh, very good. All right, and great history. And as we were talking before I came on the air, I kind of breached and told you guys that I'm a Kiwanian myself. Have not been in attendance for quite some time. I remember Charlie Burton. I think Steve, you may remember Steve. Betty, you may know Charlie. Charlie was one that was instrumental in getting me to become a part of the Kiwanis Club there. Right. Let me ask you now, Steve, you're the past president. Talk about some of the things that you were able to accomplish during your tenure.
Well, you know, we started a really big membership drive, and I was proud to say that during the reign that I was president, we went from something like attendance of 20-something people per week to 30, 35, and a membership from probably 30-something to 50-something. So we had a lot of people bringing in visitors, and once they got in and visited with us, seeing what the Kiwanis was all about, and they would just leave with the application and join, and we continued to grow under Betty's leadership. We've had several members join since she's taken over the presidency.
Well, very good, very good.
And just like we talked earlier, Alton, the things that we talked about, our fundraisers and all, we did the same thing during when I was president. We're doing now, and we'll talk about them, I guess, later.
Okay, yes.
But, that was one of the main things I was proud of, that we was able to increase our membership.
Okay.
Quite a few people.
When we're talking about membership here, just go ahead and tell, because I know maybe somebody may be watching and may want to know a little bit more about Kiwanis, how to become a member. And you mentioned application. What else is required of an individual? And
Well,
either one
it's got to
can
be, I
answer.
believe, if I'm not mistaken, 18 years or older.
Okay.
And of course, in good standing, you know, they're not just, you know, they just don't fill out an application and join, you know, they have to be approved by the board,
Okay.
And inducted in.
inducted in. And,
Okay.
We will.
and then, of course, you know, they'll come out, and probably, sometimes people come out once or twice. We meet every Thursday at the Highland Country Club at 12 o'clock.
Okay.
So if anybody's listening would like to be, know more about Kiwanis, even if they don't want to join, if they want to know more about Kiwanis or come out and enjoy the speakers we have, they can come out, and we'll be more than happy to provide lunch for them and let them visit with us.
Okay.
And not only that, they can visit our website,
Yeah.
Kiwanis1.org, or Kiwanis, Kiwanis.org.
.org is the one you
Anyway,
wanna
you
use.
can go online and pull up any information or anything that you want to know about Kiwanis.
Okay.
It's
all
a
right.
gamut of information there. We also have a Facebook page that they can find out all about us, what we do. There's photos there that tells you what we've done, what we're doing, even the pancake breakfast, the parades, members being inducted into the club, and those sorts of things.
Okay, well, very good. Then you all was talking about, and I heard Betty in your opening, you were talking about mission, a little bit about helping children and one child at a time. And I know that I see in the paper locally, kind of like on an annual basis, you all give a local scholarship. Talk a little bit about that, if you don't mind, Stephen. I'll get you to chime in as well,
Okay.
Betty.
Okay.
Basically, you know, we have a committee made up of 3 members that analyze the applications for the scholarship, and it's not a gimme. They have to fit certain criteria.
Okay.
Grade level, active in the civic, in the club, good, just a good background.
Okay.
And then once they're approved by this committee, they, we have them out to lunch at Kiwanis and present them with a check. And we try to usually do at least several $1,000s a year to the children of high schools usually the applications are sent out to all the schools by one of the members of the board of the committee, and given to, I'm assuming it goes through the principal's office and filters down through the teachers, and they fill out the applications and submit them back at a certain deadline for our committee to review.
Oh, okay. All right. What's it? Because that normally in the fall of the year, Steve, if I'm not correct.
Yeah, well, it's usually it's in the part of, right before graduation.
Okay.
And if they had to be a junior, going into a senior year before they qualify for the scholarship.
Okay. All right. And you talked about several $1,000s, and when you're talking about going off to college, any little bit helps nowadays.
That's right.
So that's definitely something that students should be looking out for. Let me ask you. You talked a bit about other fundings that sometimes you all do make other donations. So if someone was listening, or a student or whatever, because your funding is primarily for students, if there was someone that was listening, they would say, well, maybe I might want to apply to Kiwanis for, what are some of the other areas that you all fund outside of scholarships?
For the scholarships, we those fundraisers we've done the clay shoot, whereby those guys or ladies that go out to Liberty Hill and shoot, and they have to pay a fee in order to become eligible to do that.
Okay.
We also do the radio days, where on a Saturday morning that there again we get funds you have to pay to participate in it.
Okay.
And the members, just like on this show, when you have to break for an ad or pay time, in other words, the members will read the ads for those sponsors. So that's another means by which we generate money.
Okay.
And not only is it for scholarships, but it's for other services as well, where we've given contributions to the Boy Scouts of America. We just recently gave money to the Creative Art Center over
LaGrange
there.
Art Museum?
LaGrange Art Museum. We also gave money to the Callaway Center for a playground in honor of Kiwanis. So those are the kinds of things that we do.
All right, well, very good. A lot of great things going on. And you're talking about fundraising. I know that you all have some upcoming events I'm going to talk about in just a moment. But before we talk about that, I know that you all have an affiliation with the Key Clubs in the local high schools. Talk about that for us, Steve.
Well, basically, the Key Clubs is basically part of the Kiwanis. They operate under the guidelines and rules of the Kiwanis International. When we have our parade float, the Key Club does 90% of the work on the float. When we have our pancake breakfast, it's going to be coming up in March the 7th.
Okay.
The Key Club will show up and work all day long serving or whatever needs to be done, cleaning up, whatever that we need them to do, they'll be there. They always, and then we always try to give them recognition with we always try to keep them, within T-shirts. We want to recognize, we want the people of the community to know that Key Club is hand in hand with the Kiwanis. And it's been a lot of Key Club members that has graduated from high school and come back and become a member of this club. And I won't name any names, but we have one individual that received a scholarship when she come out of high school, and now she's back in the club and very active.
Very good. So it always helps to have those feeder organizations to kind of help keep sustainability for an organization.
The Key Club, they have also certain criteria. They can't just join. They got to have a good grade, everything. They got to be upstanding in their school.
Right. Because they do get a chance to come over and have dinner with you all. Lunch with you all sometimes.
We encourage them to come over. We like for them to come over and spend time with us.
Very
and
good.
we'll have that day. One day, I've seen the time we go out there and we picked up the trash along the side of the highway. They would be hand in hand with us. Walking along there.
Very good. As we get ready to close out, I know that this is an event that you all have every year, November of the year, December of the year, the Coats for Kids.
Right.
Give us an update on the success of that, if you all don't mind, as we get ready to close, Betty.
That is so successful. One of our members who has been doing this for quite some time now is really a go-getter, and he's out there putting out boxes, picking up boxes, taking coats to the cleaners for Ideal Cleaner, who has been cleaning those coats for years now. But this committee member is very dedicated in doing what he does. And he put boxes in different areas and then picks them up. And it's just such a task that he's undertaking and seems to enjoy it so well. But it helps children because it does get cold, and there are kids that are so less fortunate that don't have them. And when he does this and takes to the clothes shelter, I believe, and you can go there and get coats for kids. So that's a very good thing that I feel that we're doing there again to help the children, and that's what we're about.
Very good.
That's
Very
exactly what we're about,
I
serving the
believe
children.
I think he collected something around 900 coats this year.
900 coats.
Yeah, items, and took them, and like Betty said, Ideal cleans them, but he always cleans them for absolutely no charge.
No charge.
He charges upon us nothing, and he's been doing that for years, and they've really been a big help to us.
Well, we appreciate it, and I do know that when I was there, it was one of the projects that I kind of undertook, and I know that I had a good relationship with the owner of Ideal at that time, still do, and we do want to say thank you for all your work and dedication to do this service for Kiwanis. So I want to thank both of you all for being on the show today and sharing this information. I look forward to those upcoming events, the March the 7th, the Pancake Breakfast, and in April, the Kiwanis for a Day. So definitely, hopefully, can get the public to come out and help out with that. So thank you, Betty, for being on the show today.
It's my
Thank you, Steve, for
pleasure.
being on
Thank
the
you
show.
for having
And if
us
I
on.
might just add one thing, is that our club is involved in what you call the Eliminate Project.
Okay.
And what that is that the international, as well as our club and other clubs in the area, we're out to eradicate neonatal and maternal tetanus.
Oh, okay. Well,
So
very good.
that is certainly something that hopefully that we can eradicate this.
Well, very good. Hopefully I can get you back on and talk a little bit more about that. Again, I want to thank both of you all for being on the show today. Okay.
Thank you for having
Thank
us.
you.
All
My
right.
pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for more City Week in just a moment. Welcome back to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'm sitting down with a member of the inspection department from the City of LaGrange. I'm sitting down with Senior Inspector Glen Conroy. Glen, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, it's a pleasure sitting down with you, and this is my first time getting a chance to sit down with you, kind of talk a little bit about what you do, but just tell us a little bit about Glen, if you don't mind, first of all, before we get into our presentation.
Okay, I'm a certified residential building inspector, and for the city, I work mostly with unsafe housing cases, and I also do inspections or whatever is needed of me in the inspection department. I previously worked for the county for 5.5 years as an inspector and an estimator and maintenance as well.
Oh, okay. Well, very good. And come with a lot of experience, sounds like there, Glen.
Yes.
Well, you know, it was a pleasure, you know, when I reviewed your application and everything, because as we kind of evolving there in the CD department, you know, we wanted someone with that, you know, that type of experience. And I know that you also soil and erosion.
Yes, sir.
Talk a little bit about that, because a lot of times people see construction going on and they see the self thing. Talk a little bit about, you know, what's required, if you don't mind.
What's required is we monitor the construction site to make sure that they have all their BMPs, which are best management practices, where they're preventing erosion from leaving the property and affecting other properties, or, you know, and we monitor that and make sure they are following what they have designed, what the architect has designed for that project.
No, okay. And people have to understand there's various levels of soil and erosion. I
Right.
think you're a level
1B
1B.
inspector. Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, very good. Now, as your role there as the senior inspector, I know that a lot of times people, and we want to be real clear on your role, because a lot of times people get it confused sometimes with like code enforcement for grass and
Right.
and cars of that nature. Talk more specific about your role, if you don't mind.
My role is specifically dealing with structures.
Okay.
Mostly vacant, dilapidated structures.
Okay, all right. Now, and when we go out, and then the program started back in 2004, I believe it was, and when I came back in 2005, they kind of went full force, and you know, there was a little bit of uneasiness. Talk about, do you still see there a little bit of tension there now, or talk a little bit about what you see as for housing code enforcement is concerned now?
It's a very well run program. I don't see tension. It's a well-oiled machine. I'm thankful that I stepped into it being so well thought out, and you know, you have backing by all the way from the top to the bottom to get things done, and the people that we deal with are aware of this program, so they know when we come to them, they know what to expect. So.
Okay, all right. And because I remember, like you said, back in the day, there was just a little unease and unrest, but
Right.
like you say, it has now kind of taken its course, and things have kind of smoothed out. You know, you're out on a typical day. What are some of the things that you're looking for, Glen, if you don't mind?
We're looking for, as we're driving through, we're looking at the properties to make sure, you know, that there's nothing that can be a threat to somebody, like deterioration in the homes, or, you know, porch falling down, or, you know, just basically neglect to the properties, and if they're vacant, you know, making sure that they're not being accessed or used for criminal situations.
Okay, all right. So minor things, infractions. Now, do you automatically go into a home, or do you just kind of like do, you know, an exterior survey, or how do you get access to the interior? If I may ask?
The access to the interior, we do an exterior survey of the property, and then I go back and I go to the Troup County property appraisers and try to find out who owns the property, and we try to make contact with them to get permission to enter the building. If we do not get permission, we go and get an administrative search warrant to go in the property.
Okay, all right. Do we have to do that a lot of cases, or are we pretty much in compliance with?
90% of them, we get permission from the owner to go in. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. And then once you get into the interior home, are there certain things that you're looking for, like you did on the exterior?
Yes, we're looking for the evidence of the exterior deterioration inside the property, and evidence of people entering the property, and just to see if the extent of damage is continued to the inside. Yes.
Okay, all right. Now, once you do all those things, and then you see that there is potential damages there or potential hazards, What are certain, I know there's certain things like safety, decency, things like, what are some of the things that you look for that will kind of rate a property being more unsafe? Or there certain
Like
things?
if you walk into the property and you can see the sky, which I have on several occasions, or you walk in and the floor has collapsed.
Okay.
That's extreme, yes.
Okay. Do you see a lot of those properties here in LaGrange still, Glen, with the program now being in existence over 11 years?
No, it's not. It's not near as bad. You still have them here
Okay.
and there, but the city has done a great job to clean it up.
Okay, all right. And I think what we want the citizens to understand, it makes for a better community. It helps the community to be more healthy, and again, so safe, decent, and sanitary environment for the occupants of those homes. Let me ask you, you mentioned about, and you're right, we do walk into some location and we can look out through the roofs and stuff. I think you've been with us now about 8 months. What's probably been one of the most extreme cases that you've seen?
There was two cases where the building has actually collapsed, partially collapsed, and I couldn't conduct an interior inspection of the place because it was unsafe to walk in there.
And someone was actually living in this?
No, these were all vacant.
Okay, and that's another good point. A vacant structure versus a occupied structure, how do we handle those, or do we handle those different?
Yes, we handle those differently. Generally, if they're occupied, that falls on another part of our department. I generally deal with unoccupied.
Okay, very good. Now, if you find an unoccupied structure that has fallen into disarray, what's your next course of action?
My is to try to contact the owner, to try to get them. I give them a chance to make amends and fix the property. If they don't, then we issue them a summons to go to court, and they go before the judge and in the municipal court, and the judge will look at all the facts. We'll present our facts, and they'll have an opportunity to speak, and then the judge will determine whether they need to give them an option to fix it or demolish it.
Okay, so you do see some homes being returned to the tax roll by the owner?
Yes.
Okay, all right,
Yes.
very good. Now, let's say someone isn't compliant. They don't comply with the wishes of the court, and I did hear you say demolish. Who normally is responsible for that?
If after the judge gives them a certain amount of time to get permits to either repair or demolish the property, after that time has expired, if they have not complied, then the city moves forward to take care of the situation.
Oh, okay. And what happens if the city has to take down a property?
Well, if the city takes down the property, then we apply the cost to the property in the form of a lien.
Okay, so it's better for the property owner to take it down, you
Yes,
think?
yes,
Absolutely.
because before the property can be sold, they have to satisfy the lien.
Okay, all right. So, and again, it's just a way of keeping the city clean,
Right.
Keeping places safe. And of course, the occupiers fall on another one. I'll talk more about that with the other staff
Right.
person, though. So if someone says, okay, well, Glenn, I want to repair my home, are there things that we look at to see, like the after rehab value versus the rehab value, or the value of it? Are there any factors that we consider there?
Well, we consider when we're figuring what needs to be done, we motivate them by selling them. After you fix the property, it'll be worth this amount of money.
Okay.
And it will make the community look better too. you
Right.
know. And we try to give them the time they need to take care of that if they're making progress.
Okay, all right. Can you give an approximation, and you may not know necessarily the total number, can you kind of give an approximation of the number of cases you've dealt with thus far?
Approximately 30 since I've been on
Okay.
with the city. Yes.
Okay. And what has been most of the outcome of those? Return or?
The most of the outcome has been returned to the tax roll.
Okay.
I've only had 9 in the 8 months to come down to the 30.
Okay, well, very good. And then what, when the lots come down, the structure comes down, the lot, do they have to do anything particular to the lot or anything?
Yes, they have to clear the lot and seed and hay so that, the grass will come up and it'll be a nice clean lot.
Okay.
And then they have to maintain it as well.
Have to maintain. Okay. Let's say, and then how does someone lodge a complaint? Let's say, for example, I'm out riding. I'm sure most of the time we can call
Right.
But what are some of the ways that a complaint can be lodged against a structure?
Mostly they're by phone calls,
Mhm.
but and that's probably 90% of it. But I have been out in the field and had people approach me
Okay.
and stop me. They see me in my city vehicle. And I'll be going, you know, because I cruise the streets, you know, looking,
Okay.
trying to.
And as we, you know, ride around the city, we do see some of those, and we say, well, you know, what's going on with this structure? And then that's where you come into play and kind of, I guess, doing your investigation.
Right. There has been a couple that I've spotted myself and inquired about and
Okay.
moved forward.
Well, Glenn, it's a pleasure to have you on and have you on staff with us, and I thank you for the hard work that you do and
Thank you.
helping to make our city look, you know, more presentable when we have visitors come that want to invest in our city. So
Yes.
thank you very much for
You're welcome.
your hard work, and thank you for coming on the show today.
Well, thank you very much.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're back for more City Week in just a moment.
Just what you're hungry for. It's in downtown LaGrange. You have 17 restaurants to choose from, and each has its own personality, from chef-driven establishments to life on the casual side. Celebrate, create traditions, make new friends, discover new tastes. Downtown LaGrange is simply delicious. So come on down.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining for City Week this week. My guests have been from the LaGrange Kiwanis Club. I had on the immediate past president, Steve Cavender, along with the president, Betty Patterson, as they talked about celebrating the centennial mark 100th anniversary of Kiwanis Club here in LaGrange and nationally. So I just want to say congratulations to that milestone. Also, I had on from the City of LaGrange, Senior Inspector Glen Conroy, as he talked about his roles and responsibility as a Senior Inspector for unsafe housing for the City of LaGrange. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you've enjoyed those interviews, and as always, I want to invite you back for more of City Week.
This is Bobby McCollum with the City of LaGrange Garage. I'm here to give you another winter car care tip for your vehicle. Now, one thing you do need to check through the winter is your antifreeze. Your antifreeze keeps your vehicle from freezing during the winter. It's supposed to have a proper 50-50 mix between antifreeze and water. Very easy way to check it. One thing you need to look at is your coolant level to see how much antifreeze you have in the vehicle. Now, it's going to have a maximum or minimum level on your reservoir, and it's going to tell you how much you need to put in it. Another thing you need to check is the actual freezing point of your antifreeze. And you can do that with a simple tester you can get at any parts store. All you do is take the cap off of your radiator reservoir. On this model vehicle we have a reservoir. Stick it down in and squeeze up your antifreeze into the tester. There will be a needle showing where your antifreeze test level is, and on this vehicle it's good to negative 45 degrees. Now, you need to have it up to about 0 degrees. You don't want it to be any higher than 0. If it's anything above 0, you need to flush out and refill your radiator with the proper level and type of antifreeze, and you can check your owner's manual for that. This is just another simple car care tip from the City of LaGrange. These are just general care tips for your vehicle. Please refer to your owner's manual for any vehicle specifications.